On this episode of Just Informed Talk, in a move of complete and utter panic, the deep state has launched their obstruction trap against President Trump. They are now going to contend that it was all an obstruction of justice for a crime that never existed. We have Robert Mueller giving a press conference today, opening the door for media and corrupt politicians to continue to spread this lie far and wide, while also making it impossible for the president to continue to do his job, and by doing so effectively meddle in the 2020 election. You guys are going to stick around and check this out. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. I always begin by saying thank you to everybody who's hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, please come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you get notified when these videos get posted, and go hit the thumbs up button, the like button, if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. So obviously where we left off with the Q post is at Q post 3349, and we haven't had anything since the 26th, so we're still waiting to hear more. But as you guys can see, there is so much happening right now that we can basically just take all the information in the news and then compare it to things that we've been told in the past by Q and other sources, and realize that there is an incredible effort going on, and panic, I should say, going on behind the scenes, where the deep state is in a full-on panic trying to spring this obstruction trap against the president. And now, as you can see, before we get into everything that has to do with this video, I'd like to always remind everyone to come back here to the landing page, watch these last two videos if you want to get caught up on the latest. I really encourage everyone to watch this Dan Bongino video, where it's a full speech he gives, and we're actually going to look at a little bit of it today here in this video too, because it speaks directly to what they did, or what they are doing, I should say, and it explains everything so clearly, and we're going to talk about it briefly. But watch these videos, share them on your social media, because YouTube will not put these videos into anybody's suggested next video. So I understand, a lot of you guys say, hey, it was in my feed today where it said because you're subscribed to me. Yes, but what I'm saying is that what they've done to these videos and this content is they've used their draconian policies that are subjectively applied and biased against conservatives to put my content in a category where it will only reach those who subscribe to me, and it will never be suggested to anybody else to watch. So just take that into account when you think about hitting that share button. It helps channel big time. Also, if you guys haven't heard of what QAnon is and the Great Awakening, I always encourage everyone to come find this video. What is QAnon and the Great Awakening? You can watch it. It's here on the channel, and if you can't find it here on the channel, then probably just try searching it by the title, and I'm sure you can pull it up that way and watch it. It'll give you all the information you need to know about what we're talking about here. So this is the whole video. First of all, I'm just going to kind of briefly go over some facts and give you. I'm going to posit some theories, and then we're going to watch a cut together of Robert Mueller's press conference, Jerry Nadler's reaction, and the clip that I talked about with Dan Bongino explaining everything. So you guys just stick around to watch that here at the end of the video, because it's gonna, when you watch it in sequence, I've been working on it, it makes total sense as to what they're doing right now, why they've decided to have Robert Mueller get up on stage at the Department of Justice and make these remarks in closing as he decides to end his investigation. He has to end it by saying, I would have charged the president had it not been for those pesky DOJ policies that kept me from going after him. It's like a Scooby-Doo villain or something. And, this is what we're up against here, people. These lying, corrupt career politicians, lying, corrupt career bureaucrats, and lying, corrupt fake news media reporters who are all working together right now to lie to you. And the best part is, it's projection. It's psychological projection. Whatever you think, whatever you're guilty about, you tend to put on to other people. That's what they're doing. If you watch Jerry Nadler, you can almost see this kind of gestalt that he gets from reading out of his written statement. He goes, President Trump's lying to you, and he's a liar. And you're like, man, this is what it's come down to. These people don't want to legislate. They don't want to make our country better. They don't want to tackle issues like healthcare, border crisis. They don't want to tackle the real issues that are killing this country, infrastructure. What they want to do is they want to unseat a duly elected president, and they've spent 2 years now doing this, more than 2 years. And This is just getting beyond me, because this is what's coming next. So they're still reluctant to embrace impeachment because they know it's going to backfire on them. First of all, they'll never get it through the Senate. Therefore, it will never become anything more than a political stunt. And they know there's no evidence. So even if they do get this impeachment somehow through and they actually go to vote on everything, I'm telling you what, there's nothing there. You can't convict someone for a crime that never happened. And then they make up this whole push for obstruction because it's in the legal terms, it's defined in a gray area where it subjectively can be applied. You could say, well, he was obstructing justice here, he was obstructing justice here, but there was never a crime. And they were trying to set him up from the beginning. And this was their big trap. And Q told us back what the Mueller blockade was all about. Mueller was a blockade to keep information out of your purview, keep you from realizing the truth, all the truths that we are seeing now with the declassification of text messages and closed-door testimonies that show that the FBI and the DOJ were working with the Obama administration and the DNC and Hillary Clinton to frame the president of the United States. Literally. I'm not even making this. There's so many facts. The fact pattern shows that that's what happened. But let's hear what Q had to say. This was back on October 9th of 2018, where Q told us what Mueller was all about. It says, how do you navigate around installed blockade? Mueller, designed to take in evidence needed to expose deep state. DOJ block regarding Mueller evidence ongoing investigation. Mueller, designed to limit POTUS's ability to maneuver. Mueller, designed to stall for time until midterm elections to terminate all House, Senate ongoing investigations. Mueller, designed to safeguard Democrat Party base false narrative regarding Russia collusion, POTUS cheated, evil, sky falling, an effort to divide and mobilize for future protests, riots, threats, violence, false flags, etc. Mueller, designed to provide fake news with ammunition to sway public opinion, obstruct foreign and domestic agenda, fuel impeachment removal, fuel anti-POTUS division, prevent unity, etc. Mueller, designed to demonstrate to foreign players that old guard still pulls strings. Mueller, designed to mobilize Democratic Party for midterm vote, win. Mueller, designed to push Democrat backers to donate, GoFundMe, Democratic Party. Mueller, designed as public outcry excuse should criminal charges be brought against them. We are being politically attacked because Mueller. How do you remove installed blockade? Declass, declass, declass. That is what happened. Okay, so think of it this way. What has happened here? What is all of this saying? What all of this is saying is that Mueller's whole investigation was a ruse to hide evidence that showed their own guilt and to go after the president and to meddle in the 2018 election. And now subsequently, obviously, the 2020 election, right? So now that the president has ordered the attorney general to declassify everything, they are panicking. These deep state corrupt criminals who call themselves politicians, who call themselves, directors of this or directors of that, they're bureaucrats basically, who are all corrupt criminals who are panicking because their crimes are being exposed. We have evidence now that proves beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump was spied on by not only the Obama administration, but the Obama administration used the CIA. And it's coming out in multiple reports that Obama was not just spying on President Trump. He was spying on basically all the American people. And he was illegally using surveillance tools that were created by the NSA to track terrorists. And he was illegally using those, violating Section 702 policy to target U.S. American citizens and unmask American citizens. But now they have to have this big hoopla in the media because this is going to be their last stand where they're going to have to go. We have to go after President Trump. And they're just going to use this. See, you know what's so funny? In the video I'm going to show you here in the last part of the little cut together, I'm going to show you what the hilarious part to me is you have this press conference where Jerry Nadler is actually asked a question. They ask him, are you going to subpoena Mueller? And you could tell he has like all these written statements about like what he's going to say for each question because they probably scripted the whole thing out anyway. And he goes, you could tell he's taken back. He's like, Well, we got enough from him today. Do you know why they're terrified and they're too much? Why they're terrified to subpoena Robert Mueller? Because they know if they get Robert Mueller on in front of the congressional committee, that the Republicans are going to be able to ask questions too. And there's a lot of great questions I think we could ask Robert Mueller where he would most likely either have to lie, which perjure himself, or he would have to tell us the truth about what happened. And that's what the Democrats are terrified of. See, because they don't want transparency. Because transparency proves they were the ones who were involved in this crime against the president, against you, we, the American people. So you have these kind of traitors, like here's John Brennan, my favorite, affectionately called raisin-faced turd muffin. He's a liar, lied, under oath to Congress. That's just, there. Also, he's talking about this VP Biden. So President Trump made this comment about Joe Biden being a low IQ, whatever. And who cares, right? But this is where they get into this, because he goes, you don't have a scintilla of intellect, decency, and principles of VP Biden. What you do have is Biden envy. Who is envious of Joe Biden? He is a low IQ individual. The guy probably had no idea what was going on. Probably was too dim-witted to even see what was happening around him. The corruption that you, Brennan, and your boss, Obama, was helping you enact against the American people. All Biden cared about was that his son got these billion-dollar deals from China and Ukraine so that he could just take all the money from his father's position and abuse that kind of power. That's all that they care about, not to mention all the creepy, publicly available videos of Joe Biden creepily touching and groping young children. Nobody's envious of that, except probably you, John Brennan. So this is sick. This is disgusting. These people are criminals. You have Nancy Pelosi releasing a statement. Look at that face. Ugh. Ugh. Oh my gosh. But she's coming out and saying, oh, yes, and we thank Robert Mueller for coming out and telling us the truth about how his decision not to indict stemmed directly from the Department of Justice policy that a sitting president cannot be indicted. Don't you see? But no one's above the law. Really, Nancy? I think that you believe that you and your corrupt cronies are all above the law, and that you're using this to go after an innocent man, right, President Trump, because you're trying to cover up the fact that you believe you are above the law. It's sickening. It's sickening. And then you have a few statements released by the president on Twitter today where basically it's just saying, look, it's over. But I love this one. Brad Parscale put out this little doozy. And he says at the bottom here, which I thought was very interesting, it says, now it's time to turn to the origins of the Russia hoax and get to the bottom of why Trump campaign was spied on by the Obama-era DOJ and FBI. Anyone who is for transparency, constitutional civil liberties, and the rule of law should want to know why human sources wiretapping and unmasking were used to infiltrate a presidential election or campaign. Yeah, I think we'd all be very interested to find that out. Not to mention the fact that great reporting coming out of and great patriots, including General McInerney and rest in peace Admiral Ace Lyons, being reported on by the AmericanReport.org. Mary Fanning and Alan Jones are uncovering the fact that Obama was using an illegal surveillance tool, namely called the Hammer, that he had basically weaponized and violated the like I said, the Section 702 about unmasking, so that he could go and basically spy on everyone. You, me, Trump, Ted Cruz, you name it. We're all probably in that we're all in that database being watched. Not me, baby, but everybody who really mattered at that point, right? Oh, this is getting bad. And President Trump says nothing changes from the Mueller report. There was insufficient evidence, and therefore, in our country, a person is innocent. Case is closed. Thank you. So this is their big last push, I think. They're really going to try to stretch this out until the 2020 election. They're going to keep calling foul. They're going to keep crying wolf. They're going to keep telling you, the American people, and lying to you with the help of big tech, YouTube, who's going to suggest to you all of CNN's and MSNBC's videos to watch about how, and where they pay these former bureaucrats, unelected bureaucrats who are traitors and criminals against this country. They pay them $3,000 an episode to come on and lie to you, the American people, so that big tech can push it to you, so that corrupt politicians can use it to keep pushing this false narrative against the president in order to effectively meddle in the 2020 election and basically undermine the administration of President Donald J. Trump. Let's watch this video. I want you guys to watch this video because it lays everything out for you guys. And yeah, just watch it in sequence. It's going to show you. You're going to hear what Robert Mueller has to say. You're going to hear what the Democrats through Jerry Nadler have to say. And then you're going to hear Dan Bongino explain what it all really means.
2 years ago, the acting Attorney General asked me to serve as special counsel, and he created the special counsel's office. The appointment order directed the office to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. This included investigating any links or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. Now, I have not spoken publicly during our investigation. I'm speaking out today because our investigation is complete. The Attorney General has made the report on our investigation largely public. We are formally closing the special counsel's office, and as well, I'm resigning from the Department of Justice to return to private life. I'll make a few remarks about the results of our work. But beyond these few remarks, it is important that the office's written work speak for itself. Let me begin where the appointment order begins, and that is interference in the 2016 presidential election. As alleged by the grand jury in an indictment, Russian intelligence officers who were part of the Russian military launched a concerted attack on our political system. The indictment alleges that they used sophisticated cyber techniques to hack into computers and networks used by the Clinton campaign. They stole private information and then released that information through fake online identities and through the organization WikiLeaks. The releases were designed and timed to interfere with our election and to damage a presidential candidate. And at the same time, as the grand jury alleged in a separate indictment, a private Russian entity engaged in a social media operation where Russian citizens posed as Americans in order to influence an election. These indictments contain allegations, and we are not commenting on the guilt or the innocence of any specific defendant. Every defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. The indictments allege, and the other activities in our report describe, efforts to interfere in our political system. They needed to be investigated and understood, and that is among the reasons why the Department of Justice established our office. That is also a reason we investigated efforts to obstruct the investigation. The matters we investigated were of paramount importance. It was critical for us to obtain full and accurate information from every person we questioned. When a subject of an investigation obstructs that investigation or lies to investigators, it strikes at the core of their government's effort to find the truth and hold wrongdoers accountable. Let me say a word about the report. The report has two parts, addressing the two main issues we were asked to investigate. The first volume of the report details numerous efforts emanating from Russia to influence the election. This volume includes a discussion of the Trump campaign's response to this activity, as well as our conclusion that there was insufficient evidence to charge a broader conspiracy. And in the second volume, the report describes the results and analysis of our obstruction of justice investigation involving the president. The order appointing me special counsel authorized us to investigate actions that could obstruct the investigation. And we conducted that investigation, and we kept the office of the acting attorney general apprised of the progress of our work. And as set forth in the report, after that investigation, if we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. We did not, however, make a determination as to whether the president did commit a crime. The introduction to the Volume 2 of our report explains that decision. It explains that under long-standing department policy, a president cannot be charged with a federal crime while he is in office. That is unconstitutional. Even if the charge is kept under seal and hidden from public view, that too is prohibited. The special counsel's office is part of the Department of Justice, and by regulation, it was bound by that department policy. Charging the president with a crime was therefore not an option we could consider. The department's written opinion explaining the policy makes several important points that further informed our handling of the obstruction investigation. Those points are summarized in our report, and I will describe two of them for you. First, the opinion explicitly permits the investigation of a sitting president because it is important to preserve evidence while memories are fresh and documents available. Among other things, that evidence could be used if there were co-conspirators who could be charged now. And second, the opinion says that the Constitution requires a process other than the criminal justice system to formally accuse a sitting president of wrongdoing. And beyond department policy, we were guided by principles of fairness. It would be unfair to potentially accuse somebody of a crime when there can be no court resolution of the actual charge. So that was Justice Department policy. Those were the principles under which we operated, and from them we concluded that we would not reach a determination one way or the other about whether the president committed a crime. That is the office's final position, and we will not comment on any other conclusions or hypotheticals about the president. We conducted an independent criminal investigation and reported the results to the Attorney General, as required by department regulations. The Attorney General then concluded that it was appropriate to provide our report to Congress and to the American people. At one point in time, I requested that certain portions of the report be released. The Attorney General preferred to make the entire report public all at once, and we appreciate that the Attorney General made the report largely public, and I certainly do not question the Attorney General's good faith in that decision. Now, I hope and expect this to be the only time that I will speak to you in this manner. I am making that decision myself. No one has told me whether I can or should testify or speak further about this matter. There has been discussion about an appearance before Congress. Any testimony from this office would not go beyond our report. It contains our findings and analysis and the reasons for the decisions we made. We chose those words carefully, and the work speaks for itself. And the report is my testimony. I would not provide information beyond that which is already public in any appearance before Congress. In addition, access to our underlying work product is being decided in a process that does not involve our office. So beyond what I've said here today and what is contained in our written work, I do not believe it is appropriate for me to speak further about the investigation or to comment on the actions of the Justice Department or Congress. And it's for that reason I will not be taking questions today as well. Now, before I step away, I want to thank the attorneys, the FBI agents, the analysts, the professional staff who helped us conduct this investigation in a fair and independent manner. These individuals, who spent nearly 2 years with the special counsel's office, were of the highest integrity. And I will close by reiterating the central allegation of our indictments, that there were multiple, systematic efforts to interfere in our election. And that allegation deserves the attention of every American. Thank you for being here today.
Mr. Mueller and his team of prosecutors and investigators worked tirelessly to follow the facts and pursue justice to the furthest extent allowed. Although Department of Justice policy prevented the special counsel from bringing criminal charges against the president, the special counsel has clearly demonstrated that President Trump is lying. He is lying about the special counsel's findings, lying about the testimony of key witnesses in the special counsel's report, and above all, lying in saying that the special counsel found no obstruction and no collusion. In his statement this morning, Special Counsel Mueller reaffirmed his report. It found substantial evidence that Russia attacked our political system, that the Trump campaign benefited from Russian interference, that Trump and those around him repeatedly welcomed Russia's support, and that throughout the subsequent investigation, Trump sought to obstruct Mueller time and time again. Special Counsel Mueller today repeated 3 central points, which are critical for the American people. 1, the special counsel did not exonerate the President of the United States of obstruction of justice. 2, obstruction of justice, of which Special Counsel Mueller found substantial evidence, is a serious crime that strikes at the core of our justice system. 3, the Constitution points to Congress to take action to hold the President accountable for his misconduct. Unfortunately, Special Counsel Mueller was unable to pursue criminal charges against the President because Department of Justice policy prevents a sitting president from being prosecuted. That policy, in my opinion, is wrong, but it prevented the Special Counsel from pursuing justice to the fullest extent possible. Therefore, as Mueller again highlighted this morning, it falls to Congress to respond to the crimes, lies, and other wrongdoing of President Trump. We will do so. Make no mistake, no one, not even the President of the United States, is above the law.
Will you subpoena Mueller to testify then?
Mr. Mueller told us a lot of what we need to hear today. It's very important to be clear on what he told us, on what the special prosecutor told the American people. He reaffirmed what was in the investigation, which was in the report about the investigation, which found substantial evidence that Russia attacked our political system, that the Trump campaign benefited from Russia's interference, that Trump and those around him repeatedly welcomed Russia's support, and that throughout the investigation, Trump sought to obstruct justice and undermine Mueller and the investigation over and over again. The special counsel did not exonerate the president from having committed a crime. DOJ policy prevented Mueller from bringing criminal charges against the president. So the president is lying about the special counsel's findings, lying in saying that the special counsel found no obstruction and no conclusion. And I should add, the Attorney General is lying about that too. That is serious, and we will take action to hold the president accountable for his misconduct. Again, I'll repeat, no one, not even the president, is above the law. Thank you very much.
What better way than to pick a discretionary crime like obstruction of justice where you don't need a bank? Who cares? You just keep the investigation open and use every single thing Trump says publicly as evidence of him obstructing a crime that never happened. Isn't it? You probably scratch your head like, did this actually happen? What are we, in Cuba? No, at least the Cubans are honest about it. They're like, yeah, we're socialists. We'll just put you in jail and beat you. These people who did this actually pretend like they're American patriots. Comey, Brennan, Mueller, and people say it all the time. And listen, I'm done with it. I get it. Bob Mueller served great. I honor the guy for his service in the Marine Corps. Nice job, and I mean that. I was not in the military. Good for him. That does not absolve you of the responsibility for the rest of your life to act like an American citizen nobly and doing a job you were assigned. Do you understand what he did? He kept this thing open for almost 2 years, exclusively to destroy the President of the United States. And when he couldn't finally get a crime, you should say, well, why did he close it out then, Dan? You said he was going to keep it open forever. Well, what happened recently? Bill Barr happened. You're darn right. He was loving beating up on Jeff Sessions and Rosenstein, 2 weak guys. Bill Barr comes in and goes, nah, we're kind of done with this, Bob. You got a crime or not? Let's see it, pal. So what does he do? He produces a report, and he had one job. You ever hear that line? Kids use it as a joke. They say, dude, you had one job. Like if you screw something up, hey, your job is to get this microphone and you can't do it. You had one job. How did you mess that up? Mueller had one job. His only job was to say prosecute or not. And because somebody puts the squeeze on him to wrap up this BS investigation, what does he do? He leaves the report at the end and says, well, we're not going to make a call on it. But why does he do that? Because Mueller's a snake. Because he knows Bill Barr wrote a memo about, 6 months ago, before he was the Attorney General, nothing to do with the Trump team. And in that memo, Barr writes to the Justice Department as a private citizen. He says, hey, listen, guys, this firing of Comey obstruction thing is bull. Trump's the president. He can fire whoever he wants. There's no legal basis for this. So you may say, I don't get it. So why would Mueller leave it then to Barr? Because Mueller didn't have anything. He had no crime. Mueller wasn't going to walk an indictment into court against Donald Trump and get humiliated. So what better way to screw Trump over one last time than to take your responsibility to charge him or not, punt that football, give it to Barr knowing he already wrote a memo saying this is BS, and then leak to the media, look, this was all political. We left it to the Attorney General and he made his decision months ago. This is all political. Folks, I know it gives you heartburn hearing all this, and it gives me heartburn too. But as I left the last speech, I'll tell you this. I think, you may say, where's the justice in this? I think the three-letter people are going down. I have no doubt. When I say the three-letter people, I mean the CIA people, the FBI people. I do. I don't see any way out of this for them. None. And Bill Barr does not care about the politics of this at all. He cares about justice. These people committed a fraud on the court, a fraud on the country. They leaked to the media. These three-letter people are going to go down, and I think there will be some justice for this in the end. But just make no mistake, and I'll take your questions. You absolutely lived through the biggest scandal of our lifetime.